So we have just one more chapter to go before we reach the halfway point, and already a lot has happened. One of those things is the amount of attention Cinder seems to be getting in this volume. The writers have really focused on the pressure and frustration Cinder feels being under someone and having to follow orders. That, plus with finally getting her backstory, it made me question whether all of this could be leading Cinder towards a big decision that will shake not only her character, but the whole show. So I have to ask, could the writers be leading Cinder towards possibly betraying Salem, stealing her magic, and becoming the new main antagonist of the show? Well, that's what I'm here to talk about. I'm going to be going over this theory and discussing whether I think it's a path they should be going towards or not. Before we get there though, I just want to quickly say thanks for watching everyone. If you guys end up liking the video, you can hit the like button. Also subscribe if you want to know when I upload next, and in the comment section I'd like to know what you guys thought about Cinder's backstory, and whether or not it's changed the way you see her. Alright, back to the video. So like I said, volume 8 seems to be putting focus on the pressure Cinder's been feeling. Since this volume started, Salem is constantly pushing her, insulting her, and holding her back. In fact, she's been extra hard on her, more than she's been in previous volumes. In the past, like in volume 4 and 5, while Salem wasn't soft or like a mother towards Cinder, she was more the tough coach. She didn't cuddle Cinder, but she didn't outright torture her or insult her. I feel like the writers are making it more obvious just how abusive the relationship is, in order to build that pressure around Cinder, and to justify why she would suddenly stab Salem through the heart and steal her power. We also got Cinder's backstory, finally. A reason for this, other than the fact that it's long overdue, could be because something big is going to happen to Cinder's character. Like I said, the backstory is long overdue, and probably should have been shown volumes back, but still, you don't reveal something like a backstory unless it connects with events taking place in the present. Also, there's the fact that the character she would be replacing is Salem, a character who's been given an understanding and sympathetic backstory. Salem has been given all this detail since volume 6. She's already an established main villain who's honestly only been getting better over time. So if we were to get a new main villain, one with no backstory and seemingly no reason for her actions, she would seem like a horrible downgrade, wouldn't she? We'd be replacing a complex villain for a mustache twirling jerk, which wouldn't be ideal. Cinder now having a backstory, we can see why she's like this. Her messed up actions, while in the wrong, have a reason. It's not just cause she's evil, making me a little more interested in what she'll do next, similar to Salem. And with Cinder's backstory also came foreshadowing. We saw what happens when she's constantly being pushed by someone bigger than her. We saw it with the bullies in the orphan slave farm, and we also saw it with Cinder's evil stepmother. Or just slave master. She's not actually a stepmother, is she? This could be foreshadowing for what Cinder will do to Salem. After being pushed more and more, she'll eventually snap and take Salem's power. I say steal because she can't actually kill her. So rather than try, I think she just rendered Salem powerless with her Grim Arm, which has the ability to steal magic. Think about it, Cinder uses that arm to take maiden powers. Maiden magic is basically just Ozma's magic split into 4. So that arm basically has the ability to steal magic. Maybe she also has the ability to steal Salem's magic. If it's possible, she won't have to worry about not being able to kill Salem, because Salem would be powerless. All she'd have to do is lock her up in the whale dungeon, job done. So we have a motive. We also have a backstory for Cinder, making her less like a generic old-timey villain and more like an actual person with scars and deep issues. And we also have a way she can do it that kind of makes sense. So, should the story go this way? I honestly don't think it'd be a wise choice for them to do this. I just think that we get a bad deal if we switch Salem for Cinder. Now don't get me wrong, I don't see this as a bad concept. Cinder's always been the odd one out among the other villains. More eyes are on her because we've known her the longest. For 3 volumes we thought she was the big boss and RWBY would have to fight her in order to stop, I don't know, evil. She was pretty mysterious back then. But anyways, because of those 3 volumes, we had our eyes on her because she had the closest connection to the audience and the main cast. Meanwhile, Salem really came in volume 4, and her beef is with the gods and Ozpin, so we were honestly closer to Cinder than we were with her. I don't know about you, but I wanted that Cinder vs. RWBY fight. I still want that Cinder vs. RWBY fight. If the writers had started Cinder on her path to betray Salem earlier on, show that pressure Salem puts on her, show how frustrated she is and how she doesn't like following orders, show her backstory in volume 4 or 5. Apparently the writers already knew where they wanted to take Cinder's backstory by then, but for whatever reason they chose not to actually show it or even hint at it. Why? Was there just too many things in volume 5 that you couldn't put this in? Did we really need the rest and relaxation chapter? I feel like it's too late now. I haven't been invested in Cinder for the past 3 years now, and for all those years we've only seen Cinder as a whiny brat wanting power but never actually winning. Even now, I know why she's like this, but I still don't even have an inkling of what she wants now. Power, and at least with Salem, I have enough to speculate what she wants. I understand her pain, and and she really has been stepping up, becoming more threatening. I don't want to switch that with Cinder. I don't believe I would enjoy that. Also, the way Salem would be taken down. Like I said, my example is one that kinda makes sense. If Cinder did take down Salem using her own power against her, that would be interesting, but that's something that needs to be built up over time. If they did something like that now, it wouldn't fit with Salem's character. The Salem we know would never be so dumb or overconfident, basically giving Cinder the keys to beat her. Of course, I'm not saying that has to be the way Cinder beats her, but I don't really see any other way that wouldn't mean nerfing Salem completely. But that's just my hot take on it. Maybe they'll continue to build her up, and by the end of the volume, I'll be open to the idea. This volume's been doing a really good job overall, so maybe they can perform a miracle. It's not impossible, but with where we are now, I'd rather stick with the Grim Goddess.